All right. So the supplies we're going to need, and I did put it in, in the descriptions of the classes. So if you want to have them handy, and what I figured we'll do, because actually, as I was rewatching stuff on this, this was a concept that was presented like about 3 years ago from Rick and Maria, and I don't know that I mentioned it because probably because I wasn't thinking about it when I was doing the posts. But one of the things that they do, it's having a thicker pen. So if you have handy, or if you need to grab, here's an 8. I know I have a 10 and a 12 here somewhere, but a thicker, whatever color pen, and I'm going to assume, a black pen. But I'm also going to think that you could use a contrasting color if you wanted to, because it's all about the contrast. And what I'll show this stuff first, and then we can talk more. And then too, if there's other questions about just shading and highlighting in general, we can also take a look at that. And so if you also have either white charcoal, either one, white charcoal or white colored pencil, both of those work, and actually they kind of work differently. So I think like on this one, I used the colored pencil, which has this really neat kind of extra translucency. It adds a little some extra color in there that just makes it iridescent. Is kind of it's not quite, but at the same time it's like, but sort of. So it's a little different than using just the charcoal pencil. And then if you have white jelly roll of any size, and of course the pencil, and Tortillion, and let's see. Oh, I was gonna make sure that I had my either 12 or 10, because that would be extra nice. I must have grabbed them to use. All right. And so I think we're just about ready. I grabbed my large my bag of pens, and I have set them down somewhere outside of, oh, there they are. I buried them outside of my view. All right. Oh, well, here's a 12. That'll work. All right. Now, my thing is sinking. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see. Should we use an old complete? Oh, you know what, Sandy? I don't know that it matters. Yeah. So just I was thinking, grab an old tile, something that well, Tanya and I were talking about earlier. It's just like, oh, okay, taking deep breaths because covering something that we've already done. But as you can see here, so like I have a lot of shading on this because these were ones from my when I do a Zentangle Essentials class, and so I have lots of them. So I'm like, oh, these are great and perfect, and I can do stuff right over those. But as you can see, there's a lot of dark and quite a bit of shading, so it'll work either way. And then too, there's like and if you don't happen to have something. Oh, okay. So Linda has a great idea, which I didn't think about, making a copy of it. And hi, Ekshara, I hope I pronounced that right, from India. Welcome, welcome. And Kat we have a number from the UK. And Shayna and Sherry from right somewhere nearby here in Ypsilanti. All right. So I'm going to get, let's see, no, do I want to be brave first with this? Yeah, okay. So this is a round tile, and I thought, well, this might be a good way to get started, and I really wanted to try this concept as I was, like I said, as I was rewatching the video. So all right. So what I'm going to do on this tile, And it's gonna maybe, you know, somewhat be a precursor to these. So what these are just like giant tangles over what's already been done. And I know, so now I'm debating. Maybe we should do yeah, you know what? Rewind. I'm gonna do this one first. So this was one that there's a technique where you can dip a this is a wine stain. And so but I had it wrong. So there's a concept where you could put some wine in a saucer, you know, or you know, a shallow plate or something, and dip the stem, you know, the base of it in there, put it on your tile, and then, you know, let it run, and that would then become your string. I You know, it's like I saw that, I was like, "Oh, what a cool idea," but then I thought, "Well, no, it needs to like fill in." I wasn't thinking just let it run how it will and then use it. So in mine just looks like I spilled wine on my tile. So I'm like, "Okay, well this one, yeah, we can totally get rid of this." Or no, we're gonna transcend it into something even more beautiful. Because it, you know, it kind of works. It was a somewhat of a proof of concept just for myself on, you know, having something wet, letting it dry, and then, you know, and seeing how the pen reacts, how the graphite did work a little bit differently. It seemed like on it. Um, so it served its purpose. All right, so I think so. One of the things that in this transcending concept is doing contrary tangles, so contrary shapes. So this one, because it does have kind of a mix of everything, I think what I'm going to do on this one is we're going to do giant hollowbow. So that's essentially what this is right here. Okay, so pick a tile, and then just, you know, with your thicker pen, we're just going to go over it. And yes, take a deep breath, because for some of us it's like, oh, I don't know, I'm going over this, and you know, it's like, no, we don't. We try not to have them collide. We draw under, not over, but we're going to draw over. All right, so just starting anywhere with the hollowbow, I'm just going to pick, and I'm going to draw a straight line. Oh, look at that! Like so. And, actually, it's not a straight line. I'm going to modify my hollowbow. I'm going to make it just a smidge curvy. Okay, so there's one side of the hollowbow, and then because I want the same curve, I'm going to keep it in the same direction. And again, this is drawing giant over. All right. So there's one. And you know, and even that it does look kind of cool, especially using the thicker pen. It makes it look, you know, just kind of cool. And all right, so and that one is a really thick line. Now I'm going to draw another one. Now this one, now I am going to draw underneath because that's how we do hollowbow. So I'm picking up my pen here as I coming to that board, continuing on. I'm going to make these maybe not as wide as that first one, so that way I can continue on. And what I need to do for hollowbow, so hollowbow, you fill the pattern, and it's essentially this one right here. You just fill whatever section with what I call boards going in any direction. So you know, I want to have at least several here, so that way it looks cool. And then the art again of drawing behind, where when you come to, you know, what you've drawn before, picking up the pen, traveling it over. The challenge of drawing this so big is that you really have to travel your pen well, so that way it looks continuous as it's coming out. All right. And I think then, let's see. I need to have something else. Well, maybe we'll do kind of a diagonal this way. Right over that. And then aura-ing that one, and maybe one more. Actually, this one, I haven't done the tangle. Is it umber? But it kind of, it's making me think of that. Let's do this. This one I always have a challenge with, just because I don't want it to look contrived. And so I find that if I'm just if I could just turn the tile and not think about it and draw a straight line, then I'd be good. And let's see. And I'm deciding if I'm done with this or not. I partly want to have one kind of, you know what, maybe let's see. If I come, ooh, let's do that. I'm going to have another one right here. Let's see. And if I was continuing it, oh, it'd be like there. Doing it with a bit of a curve. And then it's just saying, okay, is that a line? Or okay, then that one goes to that. Okay, that one is a oopsie. All right. So once you have your lines, then with the white, and for this one, I'm gonna, let's see. I'm gonna just use the chalk pencil, and you could use, you know, whatever you have handy, you know, in the white. You can go ahead and do. So just using the chalk pencil, we're gonna go on and just coloring in on the insides of these. You know what I'm gonna do first is I'm just gonna, well, when the white on the white doesn't make any difference. But actually at first I'm just gonna do on the inside, just to the inside of the lines, because I want to see what that looks like, and then it can always fill in. Ooh, that's kind of neat. And I do like sometimes doing these kind of things in stages, because it's like, oh, well, what if, because I can always go back and fill it in, because that my initial thought was, oh, I'm going to do all of it. But I also kind of want to just see what that looks like. And again, just on the inside. Yeah, so the white on the white is not going to make any. Although it's a little bit different than the other, so. and I'm almost feeling like well, for I don't, well, for those in the U.S. might be familiar with the highlights magazines like Seek and Finds. That's what I was feeling like this is right at the moment. It's like, where's another? Oh, there it is. The other advantage of making sure to use a thicker thicker pen. Ooh, and I'm looking back at the camera like, well, that looks neat just as it is, but I do like, I do think I like the idea. You know. And thank you for the smiley face. Yep, I'm going to color the whole thing in, because I think that adds to this, as you can see, the translucence. But it is fun to just experiment as you go. Oh, it's like squeaking. Oh, it's giving me chill, like nails on a chalkboard. Oh. Wow, that looks even better. All right, and then so now I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna color in all of those sections. I should have also made sure to say, if you're using a chalk pencil, make sure you have a. I need to plug it in, I think. Make sure you have a sharpener. I'm like, what do you call those things? You know, sharpener. Now, so we'll say with this too, if you happen to go over some of your, you know, the lines that we just made, we can always go back and touch them up to, you know, to freshen them up after putting the chalk pencil on, because sometimes it's just hard to avoid going over it, and if not going over it directly, just with the, you know, the dust that's created from it. But we'll leave that for the very end. Oh, and of course I just had this thought. Well, I won't say it. I was gonna should have taken pictures beforehand. Oh well. Because sometimes that before and after is a neat idea. All right. Whoa, that looks so cool. This, you know, and forgive me, because I don't know if I will ever not to be completely amazed at the neatness from doing this. You know, and it's just like, well, I did that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Just almost, you know, a little bit of a disbelief type of thing. All right, got my sharpener plugged in. Because that about killed that the tip of that. All right. Now, the next thing. So while, let's see. I could do, yeah, a screenshot of before from the week. Yeah, so I had the thought had entered my mind briefly. It's like, oh, I should do a screenshot first and then, but of course I didn't. So maybe, you know, if I'm sure we will have time maybe to do a second one, and we'll do that. So hopefully you have a second tile that we'll use. All right, and this one I think I have pictures of somewhere, and in one of those, it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter because look at how cool that looks. Now we're going to take it, while this looks really neat, I'm going to take it maybe a step further and add some graphite, just as we would normally shade hollow bow. So I'm going on all of the straight lines, and I'm going to put, well, I'm going to try to put a little extra. And yes, so I'm going over the chalk pencil with that. But I'm going over the lines, the straight lines that we did. With the graphite, you know, and here's what I'm going to do maybe first, because I just want to see how, like, neat that is. And then with the Tortillion, we're going to just smudge it out a little bit. And then I might add some more because I want to have like enormous contrast is what I'm thinking about for this. And I don't want to necessarily bring it out too far. See how that is popping it right off of the page. I always think that that's cool anyway when we're doing that with just regular hollow bow. You know, and I always do that. I always do the first board, as I call them, first, because it's remarkable how when you're just doing the regular shading, how it pops that first one right, it just elevates it right off of the page and looks so neat. And then we go and continue. So, although, you know, so I'll share this too, because it's up to you what you want to do. So this is kind of neat. This almost makes like 3 layers. So if I just decided to leave this as it is, this one is on top, and then these, you know, look like they're underneath. And so I could certainly do that. Or I can go and add graphite to the other ones, and this one will still always look up like it's standing up higher because it's the top one. But I'm going to go ahead and we'll add the graphite to the other lines.
Heather, does the what am I trying to say? Does it stand out more because you have that dark? Because I've got mine in white and it's really hard to see the pencil. Is that because you have that like tea stain or whatever on there?
You know what? I think so. So let me go back to, so going back to, this is the one I did. So this has nothing.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, and I so having the graphite on the outside helps. But yeah, it's a little bit hard to see. And maybe even just maybe going over more with the white, so you can see. But yeah, it's almost like a thin vellum. Oh, my pleasure, Monica. It's almost like a thin, like a vellum-ish, slight translucence. But yeah, and I am really remarking on how this is working with that little tea, with the not tea stain, the wine stain. which then makes me think, because I did grab a dark tile, and if we have time, I want to play with that, and if not, I'm going to play with it afterwards, one way or the other. Okay, so Fiona, to smudge the graphite, I have a Tortillion, which is basically, it's just rolled up paper. But that's why if you have a Q-tip, I think even like makeup blending, little blending things will work if you don't have a tortilla. They're not real expensive, but it's something that it's more of a specific art type of thing. That's why I put Q-tips can work. You can you can roll your own. You can make your own. I've seen some instructions on YouTube where it's kind of like just a triangular piece of paper that roll up and tightly and tape. They also have things called stumps, which would still work the same. These are softer, it's more compact. So I think it probably gives a little bit different blend, but and then this one, oh no, this one I haven't stuck. I can't tell. Some of them, if they get smashed down, because these you have to be careful not to put it down on the tip, because I did have a sample of one that I had smashed on accident. But you could put a toothpick in the end or something that will pop that tip right back out. A lot of times I'll leave the toothpick in to give it some support, because it's like once it's kind of gone, it's then kind of floppy. And then the other thing is I have the tip of the Tortillion on the graphite, and pointing towards the line that I don't want to go over, so that way as I'm kind of doing circles, the top of the circle is hitting that graphite and bringing it down, which helps to prevent it going in the wrong place. Because like if I try to do it here, then I guess I could do now, even if I did upside down circles, that wouldn't work. And for whatever reason, I've missed some here. So actually, this means doing this on a Renaissance tile could end up being kind of cool, or even the gray, just because of the color difference. But I'm wondering, and this is what I wanted to try with something, is what if you wanted to use a different color, say chalk pencil, but a colored one, and maybe do it light, just so that way you have a hint of a different color. That could be neat out. Oh yeah, so yeah, straightened out paper clip works also. Anything that you can shove in the end of these to to poke that tip right back out works well. Wow, well now I love this tile more than, it was one of those that I'm like, I didn't really like it before. The other thing that I think is kind of remarkable is, like I've seen this with when people are doing dewdrops and things where it looks like a water droplet, or even a gem on paper, and they will on purpose draw differently under where that gem is going to be to show like the refraction of the light. This I think is neat because it almost gives that same without doing it. These almost look bigger than the others just because of there's the light color over them. That refraction thing, it seems like it still works because we do have like this division with the thick dark line and the graphite versus the other. Even on this one that's just on white, that's one of the things that I noticed. It's like, wow, you don't have to necessarily go through the bother of putting in something that gives that refraction. You can just leave it as it is and don't worry about it. All right. So I almost want to see what these first ones look like and know if you're done or not. So you could take any pattern that you want and just make it ginormous. So just like we did the Halabow. So this one is print humps. And actually, you know what, maybe that's what, you know what, let me, because I wanted to try this on this. It's not going to exactly be print tops, but I really wanted to try this concept of that Rick showed on one of his. So I'm just gonna draw. I'm gonna draw a circle within the circle. So I'm gonna kind of aura the side, and I'm gonna go about this way in. We'll see if I can do that all over my beautiful Rixty here. I think I wanted it bigger, but oh well. Well, I could always draw a second line too if I wanted to. We'll leave it at that. All right, now this idea, I'm just going to see what it looks like with just what do I have here? Number 8 gel pen, and I'm just going on the inside of that white. See, and all of it is really it's really all the same concept, just maybe using a little bit different stuff. So I don't want to have you feel like like I'm going too far ahead, and actually that the white on the white doesn't make any difference here. I know what he had done this on. I might have to just do. Oh, let's see. Looking at the screen. No, not so much. I think I'll just go back over this with the chalk pencil. Well, chalk pencil, or maybe this one. Let's see. Is it making any difference? No, it's not. All right. This I'm going to use a colored pencil instead. I think having the pattern that he showed, it had a lot more stuff in the background than this. So just by adding a little bit of the white gel pen, it started to make this, this thing, just pop up. But it's the same concept. So on the inside, let me use this colored pencil instead, because as I had mentioned, the colored pencil kind of has this built-in, just because I think of the waxiness of it. And I'm going to color the whole thing, this whole bit in. I mean, besides it lightens it up, they're just, like I said, there's just something else, it seems like, in there that gives it this translucency. No. And then we'll add some graphite around the outside. Oh, and now it's starting to kind of pop that up. Wow. Without smudging it even, it's kind of popped that up. And then we're going to smudge around. And I do want to, because there's a little bit something different with the print tops, and I will share that here in a second. Or even the print tops, or the kind of like the giant crescent moon. It's the same idea. I think I might do maybe another band. Ah! That's so cool. It just looks like I, cut it out and glued it on top. How funny. All right. I just had to try that. All right. So let's see. Do I have just a regular tile? I have some, because I kind of, well, no, let's see how this works. Okay. This is an old, but this was actually on a cardstock, so that should be all right. So let me share with you. So doing I almost want to take a vote. Print tops or curve line? We can write in the chat. Okay, 2 for print tops, 3 for print tops. Oh, yeah, the spiral. That's, yep, spiral print tops, yep. Oh, 1 for the curve line. All right. It'll end up actually being both. But I will start because it's the same concept. All right, so we'll see how this goes because this is rather dark. And so I'm going to draw a ginormous print tops, which is the curve line. So starting in the center-ish. And this, of course, you want to have it wide. All right, we'll end it there. All right. Now, this one you can kind of, pick whichever side you want to start on. But let's see. I'm going to start, so turning it so that way, let's see. Nope, that's how I did it. So, oh, no, I know how I can share it both ways. So this will be, yeah, sharing both ways at the same time. So if you were doing the curved line, if you want to do the curved line, and so then you would just draw, just these ginormous curved lines, like as if you were, you had crescent moon. Actually, you could do a crescent moon right here and aura those lines. And the same kind of, so if we split this like right here, it'll be the same idea. So I'm going to put white on the right side of this line. And so if this was just a curved line, then I would do that here too. It's like, okay, I'm putting white on the right side of the curved line only. But if you're doing print tops, you just continue it all the way around. But always just on that same side. So that way, so too, if you're turning the tile, it's always going to be on the right side of that line that you just drew. I'm almost feeling like, let's see, is it making a difference? Oh, it is. Okay. So I'm almost feeling like I need to use that colored pencil. Well, too, I could have also, this one, because it's dark enough, I probably could have used the gel pen and, even just to get it started. What Rick had done on the one video was he just basically had a nice line of with the gel pen, and it did the same thing as as this, where it just like popped it up. But it also it popped it up, but the rest of it was kind of the same as as the outside. So it really had a neat effect. All right, so following this around. And so the black pen that I'm using is a 12. They have well, this is one of 2 new ones. They had a 10 and a 12 that are new. Prior to that, it was just I think it went up to an 8. But then they also have, and I think it probably could work. They have these graphics 1 pens, which are sort of like a felt tip, but not as bendy as a brush tip would be. All right, so this, again, I'm just putting it on this edge. I'm not necessarily going to go in from there, but just on the inside edge here. I want to make sure I have it, and I might have to go touch it up. We'll just see. Then, as you can probably guess, so, and even that looks kind of neat just as it is. But will make it pop a little bit more. So on the opposite side of the line you just drew, and then the same would go if you were just doing the curve. It's on the left side of the line. That we're going to add the left side or on the line. Apparently I can't keep it off of that. And so what's neat is look at, even just without using the Tortillion, how much I haven't done here yet, but look at the difference that just adding the extra, it's gray, so it's because it's a little lighter than the black, right? But just without smudging it out with the Tortillion, how that pops that up. And I'm gonna, I'll go all the way around here before I use the Tortillion. And then too, my pencil is kind of dull, so it's not like it's a fine line anyway. And I wanted to go a little extra thick because I wanted it to pop really well. I think I started on the outside. Oops, yeah, right on the edge here. And that's where I ended. And then I got to do the inside here. And I know it does seem to work good when you do the highlight on the right side, and you kind of can use the rhyming, highlight right. Shading doesn't rhyme with left, but as long as you get the one, then the other follows. All right. Oh my gosh. So without using the Tortillion and without coloring in the inside any further than just on the outside of the line, look at how neat that comes out. That is so cool. And then, as I seem to normally do, I'll grab another one. This is why you have to have a bunch of Tortillion. Oh no, here it is. So I can try to use one until it's kind of done, but then I'm always seem like I'm misplacing them. All right. And while I hadn't, let's see, we're doing good on time. All right. Well, I'm almost thinking that this might be a different-ish class, and of course, I don't have it handy. Thinking of this concept, and I know, because I've done a couple of these. Oh wait, maybe I have it in my little book here. That embossing concept, where you're using, instead of using black to draw your lines, you're using the white jelly roll pen, or a white pen, I should say. I shouldn't always say jelly roll, a white pen to draw your pattern. And just thinking of this concept and how this makes things kind of pop by doing it this way. Where you have dark on one side and light on the other, and how that, oh my gosh, that just totally pops even more. So just thinking about that the concept of that, that embossing technique. I've watched I think I maybe watched one video, and I don't know if I watched it all the way, because part of me, for those that know me, it's like I'm not non-artist here. And if it gets to be too much, like, oh, this is too much like art, then I gotta go, okay, I need to find a Heather way to do this. Oh, here it is, or one of them. But just understanding that the concept of how the dark brings, sinks things down, and the light brings things up, then you can apply the same concept that we're doing right here to something like this. And so I might maybe do a separate class or something on that. But just want to just put that bug in your brain, because if you notice, and this is the thing that I noticed what they're doing. So if you're doing darkness on one side, the light is on the other side. We're not adding any extra light, but the light is on. Well, this is it would essentially be opposite of what I'm doing here. And I don't know that it matters. It depends on what direction you want things to go. This, we're kind of having it raising up this way. So if you wanted to flip it around and put the highlight on the other side and the darkness, then it would be spiraling like down. And that's kind of neat too. So just fun things to play with these, just these, well, I would say seemingly simple concepts, but the trick is once you learn them, because I had no idea until, being exposed to Zentangle and finding out about all of these really, really super cool things. All right. What have I got on this one? Oh, okay. I don't know if it'll work on this. Oh, and I didn't grab my stuff, so it'll have to wait. So I have this black tile but I did it with a souffle pen, which the souffle pens from Jelly Roll brand, they leave that 3D effect, kind of like the glaze. It's the same idea, except they're matte. So I might not be able to do it on that one. All right, let's see if we got anything else. So I am, I'm dying to see, and it is only quarter till, but I am dying to see what you guys have done. And looking here, there we go. Ooh, and I do have another big one that I can do. Yes, so this one here. I don't think I might add in an additional line just because I want to. I had intended it to be a little bit further out. So this one, yeah, I colored the whole center in, which is just neat. And you know what, Sherry, I did not use the Tortillion. I did not smudge the white out. Let me, and that's something that you certainly could do. Let me try that really quick before I mess with the other even. Because like here you have that, it does, if I've done it thick enough, it does kind of create a line. I can see where I didn't make it so thick. Yeah, you know what, especially like here where I can see it's like, okay, there's a definite line. And that's why I like to, it's nice to also for the graphite, same idea. Let me do this off picture that just for a second. It's to kind of blend and and not have that harsh line. And of course this is on cardstock, which sometimes doesn't smudge as well. But let's see. Yeah, that's kind of neat because it does soften it a bit. And let's see. So let me go back here. I'm going to draw an intermediary line. And let's see. In this one, I used the colored pencil. So I'm going to use that again. And this one, I think this one, I'm just going to try to go just right around the outside. We'll see what that does. And still have some left here. Oh, neat. They say because it kind of raises it up. Oh, nice, Diane. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, using well, because that's what I mentioned that Rick uses just a jelly roll around the outside. You know, yeah, and if it pops, great. I think it depends too on uh how busy the pattern is that you're drawing over. You know, and then too, I mean, that's the fun of playing with it too, right? Is just like, well, let me just see what a fine line would look like. Just one, and just leave it at that. And then you can always add more if you wanted to. And so that's, you know, just a neat thing. Now something else, and that they talked about on this video was not only just doing something like this where you have this neat translucent look, but they were even, you know, just, you know, putting other patterns over, but using a contrasting pattern. And I'll make sure to actually I don't think I have it handy now, but I will in the email, because I will send out an email with you know, the results, the pictures, and the everything, and I will make sure to share that their video, I should say, because they were doing like contrasting patterns. So while this, so you know, I forget what the pattern was that he was drawing over, but so if you have something that's more you know, straight lines, then you know, he did something, you know, kind of curvy. He was drawing the Tangle Indirella, if you're familiar, over something else, and it just had this really, you know, and not over the whole thing, just over a portion, and it just was a neat effect. So it's kind of like there's no such thing as it adds to the no such thing as a mistake in Zentangle, because like even if you really don't like the whole tile, then now you can, you know, take it and do something over the top of it and have fun. Oh yeah, sure, I certainly will, and I hope that you're getting the ones that I do send, and I'll make sure that if that's the email that you put in, I'll double check it, because I always save the chat on here, and I'll double check that if that's the one that that you entered. So so yeah. All right. So if anybody is brave, I want to see if you want to open up your the webcams and let's see the beautifulness. Oh, nice. Oh, neat. Oh, see, and I love it over the color like that. Oh my gosh, are these amazing? There was also in the same video, Marie shows where she just went over something with just the white charcoal and did, you know, like a print Tom's or, you know, a spiral over something. Oh my gosh, these are amazing. Whoa. Oh, let's see, look at, I love those hearts. It can be whatever shape you want. Nice. Oh, Sandy. Oh, those are. See, what's so super neat is, yeah, the more dramatic, you know, especially that outer line, it just gives it a different look because it doesn't even have to be. So, how neat. All right. So everyone that wants to get on, and then I'll let you know in a second before I make a screenshot. Oh my gosh. Oh, and they're just all fantastic. All right. Well, hold them up steady. Whoop, who do I have here? Oh, Marie, I'm not seeing. Oh, bring it down just a smidge. There we go. There we go. All right. And I'll take it right now. Okay, now let me make sure I got it. Oh, these are just so lovely. Yes, I did. Okay. And, oh, let's see now who, go, because I don't know who is that one. Let's see if it's still, oh, let me get back there. Who did, it looked like a little bit of color in the one. It was kind of like this almost solid print Tom's. Because that just, it almost looks like that was like a color, like it was solid. Just so neat. So neat. All right. Well, now we have another tool in our toolbox. I'm making sure okay, there we go. Sorry for the thunder. I had to adjust something on my phone and then it just wants to wiggle forever. Oh, well, thanks so much. Yeah, these turned out just fantastic. Yeah, and then yeah, either using, and I am going to try after after that I might try a little bit with the um on that black tile, because I think that could look, or I don't see why, if you use using a chalk pencil, especially if it's something on white, because I mean the idea is having the translucence. You wouldn't want to completely cover up, because that's the neat idea of the concept. But um, so I just have to do some playing around. There's a couple black tiles that I'm like, yeah, I could use to do something else with that, and so we'll have some fun. Oh, saying and well, thank you, Sandy. And I can't take any credit for this brilliance. I just like to translate what I learned from Rick and Maria and other people. Yeah, upcycling tiles. Yes. Yeah. That is so it. Yeah, and now I love my wine stained tile. I always looked at it and I'm like, and I had it in I don't know if you can see, let's see, I got these. This is at a craft store by us. Oh, it's really big. You can barely see. These, old photo cubes. I remember my grandma always had one, and this I got from Michael's, but they're exactly 3.5 inches square. So, I kind of had it in there because I was like, well, it's an example. I don't really like it, but now it's like, now I love it. So I'm going to put it back in my little cube. But because people ask, well, what do you do with your tiles? It's like, well, this is a nice way to, you just set it on the table and then people can flip through it. Um, I have a little one for the bijou ones too. They're so cute. Oh, thanks. And so Tanya, it was worth it. I know we were taking deep breaths at the beginning. Oh, thanks, Fiona. Oh, thanks, Kat. Would you? Oh, so yeah, you could turn the top one. I could turn that into um a bit of a dewdrop, but I don't know. Maybe if I hadn't done, well, maybe with a white jelly roll over that, because yeah, they have the white, or maybe if I can just put some, uh, where are they? And I know I thought I grabbed my number 10. I do like that number 10. It does seem to, the jelly roll came out with a 5 and a 10, and that's added so much interest to terrible Zentangle attempts. That's so funny. Yeah, so adding just oh, see, that might do it, because usually for the dewdrop you're just adding a swish of, you can't really see that, of white, and where was it? Yeah, because I know that Rick showed it. So yeah, you could do something like that smaller, and let's see if I just do like here. Well, I said smaller. And then do the graphite on the outside. I'm trying to remember it because he did show one on the video, and I've done them before. I just usually like to have have a little bit of that, uh, the graphite on the inside, kind of like doing gems. Whoops. Let's just see. Look at how that just pops it right off the page. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And then, well, see, into this, well, let's just do like this. Ooh, my thing is getting a little blurry. Yeah, it's kind of like a more of a straight. So the gel, what the jelly roll should give, should, is actually, let me do it. Where'd it go? Maybe on. We'll do one. We'll do a smaller one here. So what the jelly roll should give is just a little, that little shine that you would have from from a droplet of water. And I don't know if it's showing up there, so it's still not really necessarily. However, it's one of those, there's no rules. Oh, that was my white one. I can never keep white tortillas separate for just white because I always end up using them for something else. Or I forget, oh no, that's a clean one. No, it's not. That's for the white. Yeah, so like that. So, it should give a little bit of a shine to it. That's the idea of just, it's just like a little swipe of that jelly roll. But see that seems to help, because that's like when I do the whole gem concept, which is really, it's this similar to this dewdrop idea. You putting the swipe of the jelly roll in the dark section then makes it visible. Yeah, and that's all that is. And that does seem to help. So you could bring in a little bit of the graphite, a little bit, if you wanted to just, turn that into a big water droplet. And I know that, the ones that are, um the ones that I've seen, they add a little bit of extra out to the side, so that way, it looks like it's reflecting and all that. But then again, that goes to my thing of, that just makes it a little too much like art. Which just means, translation is, it just escapes my brain and I don't feel like I can do it. So I find ways that I can get a similar result with my skill set. So so there you go. Oh. Oh, well, thanks. And it's I want to say I don't know if it's a Viraji. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. So, all right. So very good. Well, I was so excited. It's like I've been kind of wanting to do something like this for a while, and thought it was just a good opportunity to be able to share this concept, especially, having, I've, such a number of tiles now kind of piling up that it, be fun to do something else with. Um, yeah, and the same, they have that coffee and tea sting. Yeah, I think, yeah, that is a thing. I know I did something for this group that I had belonged to. They were doing like an auction, and you bought a box of stuff. It was a fortune, like it was in a like a Chinese takeout box, and it was uh, what did they have? They had a couple fortune cookies in there, so that way you could get like inspiration on what to do. And I took there was tea in there, so I took the tea and I stained the corners of the tiles, and then did a tangle, kind of highlighting it, because it didn't stain it too bad. But once you put a dividing line and made that the string, then all of a sudden you could see the difference in the colors. It was kind of neat. All right, Sharmila. Yeah, bye for now, and thanks so much. And sorry, Deb, that you have to get back to work. It's sad. But yes, and anyone that wants to, we're going to do the same thing this evening. And like I said, I'm going to play with that black tile. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on preparing an email, so that way after tonight's I can get something out right away to everyone, and then everyone can more easily see all of the work. Oh, and also, if you want to email me your tile, it's Heather at Tangle addicts.com, or if you're on the Facebook group, feel free to share it there. And I've been swiping those as I see them posted for the different things, and we'll add them to the collection and send it out. So nice. Thanks, Tanya. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we'll say goodbye to the recording, so I so that way I can get that done too. Bye, recording.